Welcome back, and this is still the conversation. We still have our Islamic clerics here, and we're talking about the significance of Eid-El-Kabir celebrations. Okay, just now we saw a clip about somebody with his memorable experience in Lagos while he was trying to buy a wristwatch. I want to ask Imam, are you the Imam or Afa? Okay, Afa Hamad. Okay. What have you had any such memorable experience in Lagos, be it good or bad? It's usually bad.
Well, you know, there's nowhere in the world that is, 100%
free of crime.
So we tend to experience it one way or the other. You know, the way that is, because he patronizes people like that, so the tendencies that he will fall victim of such things is there. Some of us, we in our offices, we get visitors, we get quotations, we get transactions with dubious people, and at the end of the day, we are doing it from our own conscience that, okay, this is a business opportunity, so let me invest in it. And at the end of the day, it is just a scam.
Do you have an experience you want to share?
I did, but it was one of the things you will call a forfa.
Okay, it's our forfa.
When you live, mine is just that you living your natural path, and then trying to sneak into a path that has no connection with you at all. So that one is complete a forfa. Okay, you want me to narrate the story?
Yes, sir.
Please.
We want to hear. Anybody can fall prey.
Okay, it's actually funny. I was on the island, Idumota to be precise. That day I went to get jalamia, stuff. Then on my way back home, I saw this guy. They were like two of them. If I come and buy this thing, if you buy this, you get this. But you will have to play this game.
How far?
So that, it was, and I actually, what gave me the confidence to go to them was that I saw, and this calls for a very serious attention. I saw policemen parked beside these guys.
Well protected.
They had their own downfall, and then immediately beside this downfall is the police pickup vehicle. So the presence of the policemen, gave me
the
assurance
confidence
that I was like, okay, I'm safe now. I can do business with them now. So I give them money. So I paid for what? So we started, and it was like a magic to me. Before you know it, I had lost all the money I wanted to use to buy jalabia. I had lost it to them. And then, I was brought up in Mushin.
Okay.
So I had to switch to the Mushin side. So let's say they took 20,000 naira from me. But when I started, conversing with them in the language they understand, the Mushin language, and they say, Omoyiko Lele. And they gave me back 10,000. It was such a funny experience.
Okay. Hold on. I think you should share with us his own experience. Have you had any experience like that in Lagos?
Well, everyone in Lagos has had one experience or the other. It wasn't. It's more of learning about Lagos the very hard way. It's quite a long time ago now. Still in med school, and I came back home to get some textbook, medical textbook. You know how much it's worth now, you know how much it was worth then. And after, not only did I come, to buy mine because, Lagosian now, told all the other colleagues, many of them also gave me their own, because some of these books you could only get in Lagos, if not abroad. Some of them very expensive out there. So I had more, and I had bought all the books that I wanted to. I was going to return home. There was
where was home then?
Home was Egbeda,
Okay.
Apollodo. So the books were purchased from Yaba,
Okay.
with that access. So I had to come back to Oshodi and So now, trying to not be bitten to it, there was a couple of book left that I had not bought. So the bookseller told me it was supposed to be a Thursday. So he told me that he didn't have them. On Saturday, I should come back, but I could pay. Me, Lagos, how will I pay you money for books that you had not given me? Actually, I was being oversmart. So I didn't pay the money. So I had the remaining money with me. Packed the books I bought in a bag, one electric pump bag like that. Put everything in there, and the remaining money I put it on the side wallet. Okay, believing that everything would look paper. And then we got to Oshodi, and the rest makes me even shiver now. Because, remember Oshodi of those days, it is human standstill. And I just noticed that, a guy, Oshodi. Oshodi near. And as he was pushing me, Oshodi near, I thought that he had helped, by. So he even helped me. He even helped me onto the motorway, And then, finally I got a bus, and I was relaxing, and we were approaching cement. If you know that axis, towards Yenapaja, we were approaching cement, and say, and I brought the bag onto my lap, to
looking for the money.
Unzip, and I saw this beautiful rectangle. Well-trimmed rectangle the size of Naira notes.
Whoa.
And everything was gone.
Wow.
And then the conductor, that phrase still rings in my head till tomorrow. And the conductor looks at me, he looks at the bag, and the beautiful rectangle. That memory, I was sick, actually. Remember, it wasn't just my money.
Yeah.
My parents were not the richest of, and it took quite a lot. And since then, anywhere I will go that will create too much choke up, I would avoid. And it's also, even before Soludo came, before Sanusi came, before Emefiele, it's also one of those things that actually motivated my cutting down on Naira transactions. Today, my physical cash transactions are
limited.
In fact, you can say between 2 to 5% at the maximum. So that's my experience.
Lagos experience. Okay,
my kids yes.
Back to our discussion for today.
Significance.
What are those vices that we avoided during Ramadan up until the time we are doing Salah that we should not go back to?
Okay, so now the vices, they go with virtue. Each defines the other. It's good that defines the bad. Black defines the good. So if the significance, as we're highlighting, will be encouraged, the opposite will be the vices that the big Salah in particular has come to re-teach again. The last 10 days has been those of intensive worship, people on Hajj worshiping, those of us at home. We even fasted a day before Salah for those who didn't fast the whole 10 days. That is vice number one that Salah has come to teach. Nigerians want everything for the price of nothing. Nigerians only now believe it's about asking and taking and taking. Yes, economy is harsh. Yes, times are hard. Nigerians should start learning from the lessons of Salah that you give selflessly and Allah will give. Nigerians must learn to give to the country they want to call their own. The people they call bad leaders today came from among them yesterday. We must be willing to give something. It is the spirit of giving that builds a country. The places people are running to. You are collecting from the Nigeria that doesn't have, and you are going over there to go and give even them who already has. You are removing the precious brains from the country that does not have. You are taking it over there to go and give them more brains to build their country. Giving. We must all be willing, citizens and kings among us, government and the government. The government can't keep asking from citizens. You collect tenement rate, you collect land use
VAT.
charge, you collect VAT, you collect VIT, you collect VUT. They pay everything and they get nothing. And you say be good citizens. How will they be expected to be good citizens? My tax is supposed to build road and do water and do light. Hospitals. You claim that my tax built road. You put toll gate on top of the road that my tax is supposed to have built. So as we expect citizens to give, government too. Nigerians are not asking for too much. Basal means of living is what we're asking for. Government too should not privatize everything, should not commercialize. When you see anything beautiful anywhere, before you say Jack Robinson, they say PPP. PP what? So what exactly is supposed to be the social responsibility of government to the downtrodden citizens of the country? If citizens see that government gives, citizens, please permit me, I'm no politician, I mean no particularities. Go back to the days of Fashola, pay your tax. Everybody was singing, pay your tax. And on TV, LTV not left behind, you find clerics were deployed, organizers were deployed, artisans, civil servants were people were more willing to give. I know of artisans who are paying 1,000 naira. People were more, because Fashola will be on the news. He said, we're in Surulere, we're in Eric Moore, we're making the road, we're going to get so and so by next week, by the week after, and they will get there by the time that he says. People are beginning to believe in government, so everybody must give. Number one vice that people must stay away from is expecting everything for the price of nothing. Citizens expecting everything from government, not want. They're even sabotaging NEPA, you know, 3-phase meter. There is always a free meter, a free line that passes under the fence. That's the one connected to the freezer and water pump. That one does not read on. Citizens must give if they expect. Number two, and this is also very important, Salah has come to teach sense of sacrifice. It will get tough before it gets soft. And sometimes it will look as if when you think it is already too hard, governments or, you know, leaders seem to be asking just a little bit more from you. Go back to Ibrahim. Ibrahim already had it very hard getting a son at nearly 100. And just at the time he was beginning to say, okay, now that we have, you know, we should start, and then the ghost of the past caught up with him. We must remember that each and every one of us, citizens and government, we planted a ghost in the past. We had spent what we didn't have when we were supposed to have. So if we're going to save something, go back to Ibrahim. You must be willing to fulfill your pledge, which is, I don't know whether I should say it one way or the other. I pledge to Nigeria, my country, to be faithful, loyal, and honest, to serve Nigeria with all my strength. But over the years, to serve Nigeria with all my strength. You know how they read it now?
It's not by force.
To serve Nigeria is not by force. You must go back to that pledge. All our years in school, we were promising to serve Nigeria with all my strength. Suddenly, when you become a graduate, the Nigeria that subsidized your, then it becomes to serve Nigeria is not by force. We must imbibe, eschew the vice of selfishness. There is supposed to be a protective...
On the part of the people,
on the part of the people, on the part... Everybody is selfish.
Has a part to play.
The leaders are selfish because they are afraid. If I leave office tomorrow, what will I eat? So the animalistic selfishness pushes them to covet and covet and covet. They buy and take and take and take and take. PPP is, you know what the definition of PPP is. It's not necessarily public-private partnership, because the definition of public also traces itself to principles. Okay? So the third, please. The third one, which is also a massive vice, is fear of poverty engendered by greed. Fear of poverty. Fear of not having. Nigerians are too afraid. Everybody is scared. The rich man who gives the tire to the vulcanizer to fix does not feel that feels that 500 naira is too much to be given to the vulcanizer. So you find a big allergy like this. He's still negotiating the price of gauging the tire. Flip it around. The vulcanizer man has also calculated the appearance of allergy
to bill him.
Everybody is afraid of what they did not have. It is important to strive. It's important to work. It's important to earn. But the vice of extreme fear of poverty engendered by greed will only be a vicious cycle. That we learn from Ibrahim. The most precious thing to Ibrahim was Ismail. We must all ask ourselves today, am I willing to let go of my Ismail so that I can get Allah's blessing?
Hold your thought there now. Now you have talked about the vices. Let's prefer solutions now. Yeah. I'm sure, did you listen to our president at the prayer ground yesterday when he talked about people sacrificing, showing love, and then our former president coming to talk about, famine and things like that. Yeah. Now, he talked about the vices now. Let's prefer solutions to all these issues, particularly now let's take a look at our leaders now. Because I believe that when we have good leaders, then the followers will just follow. We need to lead by example. Now, taking a look at Ibrahim now, Prophet Ibrahim now. Let's prefer solutions to all these issues that we have on ground, the vices that he mentioned.
Okay, alhamdulillah. You see, it is just unfortunate that we have repeated this story quite a number of times, but it seems to be falling on deaf ears. I would start with what I call detachment. You see, all these things that have been lined up, all these things that, that greed had, instilled in us, we can actually overcome them when we practice, or we imbibe the spirit of detachment. Again, Ibrahim and Ismail. Ibrahim had Ismail when he had him. Yet Ibrahim was instructed to, to make a sacrifice with Ismail at that age. Ibrahim was able to do that because he practiced, he had the spirit of detachment. You see, the lesson and the solution we can get from that is when you are too attached to anything in this world, the tendency that you would be overzealous, you would go over the board trying to protect that thing, even without considering others, without putting others into consideration. Whoever gets harmed along the line, you don't care. All you need is just to protect your wealth, protect your property, protect your life. Of this, it should not be at the expense of others. But when you do not have the spirit of detachment, that was the spirit Ibrahim had. That gave him that strength to be able to say Ismail. That in the first place, that gave him the strength to call Ismail to tell him. He was supposed to bury those dreams. He was the one having the dreams. It was not Ismail. So he may decide not to inform Ismail. And it wouldn't have been Ismail's sin. It would have been his own sin. But there is a stighfar. Maybe you could go to Allah and say, oh, Allah, forgive me. You know it is not hard. You know it is hard to do so. But he had the spirit of detachment. We have phones. We have our children. We have our cars. We have our homes. We have things we hold, we are too attached to. And we forget easily that we have offices that we occupy. We have positions, political or non-political positions that we would not let go, even if it requires you killing your opposition. These things, if you have the spirit of detachment, you would know these things are not yours. You are borrowed. Somebody was there before you, and definitely you will not be there forever. The same applies to everything we have. So if we do not have this spirit of detachment, we will not eschew the vices Because to protect something at all means that indicates that you would commit sins. You would go to any length to protect that thing. But if you have the spirit of detachment, when you lose your phone, some people will lose their phone and they will almost run into depression.
With the current economic situation now, you will run into depression.
Is it about cost?
They are too attached. Yeah, that is what attachment, too much attachment to things that are ephemeral. That is what it leads to. Some people, you see, when you have the spirit of that, when you lose, Allah is the one that gave us our sons, our daughters, or whatever we have, and He can come at any time to take them away from us without, you cannot do anything about it. But once you have this spiritual detachment, or you have this spiritual knowledge and power of detachment, you say, wa ufawwid amri ilallah. Inna Allah basirun bil ibad. Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. We ourselves and whatever we possess, whatever we have, whatever offices we occupy, whatever position of influences that we have, they are all nothing. They are not all ours. We are given by Allah, and He may decide to take them away from us. So if we have this spirit of detachment, we will know that from Allah we have come, and all those things we have, and to Allah we shall return, and everything we have, our sons, our daughters, I also believe we may lose whatever there's nothing too much for Allah to take from us.
Okay, I have this question on the is it a question or clarification, and it's for Dr. Saeed. Yes. You mentioned the last 10 days earlier, and there's some practices, expected of a Muslim. And, there have been, different views about these practices. Practices such as, shaving of the hair, cutting of nails. Some said it is meant for those who have performed or who are performing Hajj. So I want a clarification on that. And, what is the connection between Hajj and Eid-El Kabir?
So, mashallah. Let me take the relationship, the connection. They're completely interconnected in that the days of Nahr, Ayyama Ma'lumat, are shared across. Actually, those days of Salah are the grand finale of the activities of Hajj, beginning from the month of Dhul Qa'dah into Dhul Hijjah, that is the 12th month of Islamic calendar, and particularly as referenced by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the first 10 days. So you find that these are the most intensive days for those who are on Hajj, and for those of us back at home, we are also encouraged by the Prophet ﷺ to as well intensify our act of righteousness. Indeed, the Prophet ﷺ in authentic ahadith had said, no other work done during the day at any other time in the year are more worthy, are more highly valued by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala than those done in the daytimes of the first 10 days of Dhul Hijjah. Among these, to conduct ourselves as best we can, engage in acts of worship with higher rewards, and exercise self-restraint. Cutting of hair, cutting of nails. Once you take your ihram for Hajj, if you are doing Hajj alone, if you are doing Umrah, once you are in that state, you cannot kill an animal willfully. You cannot let blood. You cannot remove anything from the organic parts of your body, including your hair, your nails, and all. Right. Now, and that subsists until the conclusion when you have returned, right, from Arafah, then you descend upon the plains of Muna, signifying the set free the celebratory conclusion to those intensive days. And then you go shave your hair, you cut your nails, get yourself well dressed, and then you carry out the slaughter. Same practice is encouraged of those back at home intending to slaughter. You see the emphasis, intending to slaughter, as emulative of those on the other side of the world performing the work of Hajj. Please let me clarify, since it's clarification you are needing. If you cut your hair in the last 10 days, there is no sin. If you cut your nails, there is no hellfire for it. And it does not affect the acceptability of your Qurbani, that is your slaughter. They are, however, meritorious emulative acts for those intending to slaughter that are encouraged in pursuing the acts of their brothers and sisters that are currently doing Hajj. I think I
Yes, you have. Thank
provided some clarifications.
Okay, so Bimpe, are you clear now? You understand better now?
Yes.
All right.
It's not just for me.
For everyone out there that needs
yes.
that
Who appreciate
clarification,
it.
yes. Thank you very much for coming on the program. I have learned a lot today. I have learned a lot today, and we really appreciate you for coming on the program. The program is still The Conversation, and we've been talking with an Islamic cleric, Ahmad Imotola. Thank you very much. And also we still have in the studio Dr. Saheed Hamed. He's the Imam, Lagos State Secretariat Central Mosque, and together we've all been talking about the Eid-El Kabir celebration. Thank you very much for coming on the program.
Thank you.
We'll take a short break on the conversation. When we come back, sign out.
You know
on the
how it
program.
goes.
And let's enjoy our Eid-El Kabir celebration.
Let's eat our remaining rams at home.
Let the conversation continue